So you didn't think the homework was easy?
I mean, if you ask me to do that homework in just Java without Android, it'll be much easier. But
Oh, Android's easy.
I don't just have some issues with those new Android codes, and so I don't know how to make them work.
Did you get it done?
Some of it works, some doesn't work as I want, but I tried at least.
So you're saying you're very reliant today on my Portillo showing up.
Otherwise.
From a mood perspective. Ay.
I mean, that code of creating an array, a string, I don't know what that means. I just use it the same way you do, but I don't know.
What, the array adapter?
Yeah, when you, for example, if you go to the top, when you create a new array as a string, and I don't know how you write that code. I don't know what that means.
Platform and plugin updates. There's like a new update every single time I plug the computer in.
I updated it.
Should we go? Should we do it?
It doesn't take that long, just a few seconds for me.
Browser error. Fix. What's this guy want to know?
All the browsers.
Yandex.
Yeah, what is Yandex?
Is it an open source version of Chrome? But that was different.
At least it's not the open source version for Linux Chrome.
Is it doing my update somewhere? Check for updates. More info. Oh, it's because Safari is being updated. I get it. So let's just shoot Internet Explorer.
You don't have internet.
All right. So we'll do. That's the problem. Now it'll work. My updates were conflicting with my updates. Check for updates.
Ignore it.
Update and restart. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so remind me, for the project, you were supposed to have the ability to, you were basically building one big JSON object, right? And you could go in and create your name value pairs, and you would add it to that object, and then what, in the end it would spit out the JSON? What was the output? The output was supposed to be a JSON string?
Yes,
I guess so.
You guess so. Didn't you write it?
Because I just output a string. I don't know how to make it as that.
Oh, there's an update to the Haxum emulator thing too. All right. So I'm already in the class here, right? We're good? Is it? All right. Perfect. All right. So let's get this guy launched so we can kind of see where we left off, because I gave you like a starting point, right?
Yeah.
Just the this one.
Oh, yeah. This class is so much more fun with Android.
At least more fun than Eclipse.
Well, fun for me.
Because we haven't done it for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, this is upgrading Android too? Exhilarating.
I said, yeah, it's fun with Android, but we need more to learn about Android.
You got to take the next class.
Is there another?
No, but there should be.
There will, yeah, I'll take it.
Well, then we're going to have our, we're starting our CS, Masters in CS class in the fall. Yeah, in the spring. It's going to be a 6 credit hour class.
That's only 4 months, right?
Yeah, it'll be the entire semester.
What is it about?
Basically, like full stack programming. So it's going to be maybe the extension from really this class. This class talks about data structures, and we're kind of exploring it through Android a little bit here at the end. But the next class will be what's called full stack, which is the understanding of back-end programming, front-end programming, cloud stuff, kind of being able to do various front ends, various back ends, talking to RESTful APIs, things like that. So the next level, like this kind of stuff, would prepare you for that class. Could be kind of cool. Do you guys need electives for MSIT? They're like courses you have to take. I mean, like this class is an elective, right?
Yeah, this is elective.
Yeah. So how many other electives do you need?
I don't remember.
I mean, if you're really interested, we might be able to swing being able to do that class as an elective.
6 are the main courses that we have to do it, and the rest that we have to do in the
Like 7 are the electives. So total of 13 courses. So the required are 6.
yeah, 6 are the major ones. We have to do.
So if you're interested, let me know. We'd have to talk to Dr. Locklear because the 6 credit hour is going to make it a little weird to treat it as an elective. But we might be able to do is have you guys take that class as a 3 credit hour class. Yeah, I don't know.
But that means that didn't earn that more.
Well, no, I would probably have to cut the assignments down.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, I don't know. We'd have to look at it.
Yeah.
But it should be kind of a cool class.
And-
All right.
And those are like apart from this subject, the ongoing subject for the MS, like computer science, any other subjects that we have to do if we want to switch from IT to computer science for master's.
Okay, so if you're switching from the MSIT program to the MSCS program, all right, so we'd have to talk to Dr. Locklear how that transition would work. Basically, there's a first class for MSCS that you have to take. That's kind of a background in computer science that we're going to require anybody who doesn't have an undergraduate in computer science to take. So if your undergraduate is in computer science or something very similar, you might be able to waive that. Otherwise, you would have to take that course, but you could take the programming course concurrently with that. I don't know how he's going to swing things in terms of if you've already taken MSIT courses, how does that convert over in terms of partial credits and stuff like that. So that would be a him question. But, you know, if you're interested, I think he's motivated to allow interested students to make the move from MSIT over to MSCS. But probably, depending on how far down the line you are, it might not make sense for you. You might end up spending another year in school or something. I don't know. So you'd have to check with him to see what the scoop is. Okay, so we wrote add name value pair. Does this guy already work?
Yeah.
Oh, we actually wrote this?
Yeah.
So we can say A is equal to 5. Oh. Your homework's like halfway done.
It is true.
Killing me, people. All right, so we can add name value pairs. And then do I have generate JSON already? I have that working too. Ay, ay, ay. All right, so I should be able to add additional name value pairs. And then generate the JSON. It gives me both values. Oh. Okay, so that's for adding name value pairs where the value is a int, right? Okay.
Actually, it's a string.
This one's a string?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we supposed to do it for if it's an int?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should
All right,
say
let me look at this.
add a number.
Okay, yeah, this one's for a string. Got it. All right, so we're going to have an add number. So let's see here. So we're going to go ahead and here's create name value activity. Let me. Here's our builder core. That's our singleton. Build JSON object activity. All right, let's see where this thing starts. So here's a create name value. So right now our create name value just does strings, correct? Okay, so we need another screen that allows us to do
Create a number.
a number. Unless we dual purpose this screen, we could maybe throw like a checkbox or something on there
Possible.
to tell us whether it's a number or a string.
Yeah.
Use that guy twice. Because right now we have create name value activity, build JSON object activity, builder core. What is builder core storing for us right now? JSON activity.
It's just empty.
Okay.
Do that many.
Build. Oh, current build JSON activity. Then we have build JSON object activity. Let's see how this guy works. Oh, thank goodness.
You saved,
You gonna let me pay you this week? Oh, I got fries again too? Oh. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Nailed it. Okay. So let's get. So what do? When we do, let's generate JSON button. Let's get into create name value activity. We hit the save button. We're going to say builder core, current build JSON object activity, add name value pair. Okay, and so that's back in this guy, right? Add name value pair, takes in a string, takes in a value. Okay, got it. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to create, since we really need, right here we have our array adapter, and our array adapter is a collection of strings right now, right? Where our so that's how we'll represent it, is as those strings. Okay, so what we need to do here is I'm going to create a new class. It's just going to be a normal Java class. And we're going to call this a it's called a JSON string value. All right, that guy's going to be a class. All right, and a JSON string value is going to have a private string name and a private string actually, he's just going to have a private, do some good programming here. He's going to have a private string value because this guy's going to have a value that's a string. I'm going to create another JSON or another Java class, and this guy's going to just be called JSON value. All right, and this guy is going to be a public abstract class that we'll use for inheritance. So classes underneath this are going to, so we're going to say that all JSON values have protected string name. So every single one of these guys has a protected string name. And then we'll have a public JSON value constructor that takes in a string name as a parameter. And we say this dot name is equal to name. Okay, so that's in JSON value. So now we go back to JSON string value. So the constructor for this guy is going to be public JSON string value is going to take in a string name and a string value. We'll go ahead and say super and pass it the name. Let our parents constructor, okay, we actually need to extend our parent. This guy extends JSON value, like that. So a JSON string value is a JSON value. We'll go ahead and let our parent set up the name, and then we'll say this dot value is equal to value, like that. And then we're going to go ahead and let's force this from this level. We're going to create a public abstract string to JSON. So everything that is a JSON value must write a method called toJSON. That's a requirement because I made that abstract. So now over here, this guy's now upset. Isn't there, can't I, won't it like do it for me? Oh, haha. Awesome. All right, so we'll go ahead and write this method. And what does it mean to return a JSON string value as a JSON? It means to return the string actually, I want to see, there's a, is it string dot format? I want to show you something new. I think that will do what I want it to do. Oh, it's not going to really help me here, though. Well, we'll do it anyways. We'll do %s, %s, comma, this dot name, comma, this dot value. Yeah, so these are placeholders for strings. I think Java uses these. So this is a string placeholder, this is a string placeholder. I'll surround that guy with double quotes, and this will, this dot name will fit into this placeholder, this dot value will fit into this placeholder. So kind of a nice way of doing a concatenation. I'm running low on energy, moment. Okay. Let's see. This should not actually have the curly braces around it because this guy is a name value pair. It's not a JSON object. Okay. So now we need to build a JSON object. So we'll create a new class. JSON object. And a JSON object is going to have a private array of JSON values, right? Okay. Yeah, be good enough. So this is going to be a private JSON value array. Actually, it's not even going to be an array.
Because you don't know how many it will be.
All right, we finally get to do this.
You just use the built-in.
So we'll create a, so is that a shift return to, what key does it want me to hit to put?
Oh, Alt Enter, I think.
But who knows the
I mean, on Windows.
Oh yeah, there it is, Alt Enter. Thank you. All right, so this is going to be a linked list of JSON objects. And what kind of animal is this? We talked about this last time, right? What is that called? Generics.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Huh?
What does that mean?
This is going to create a linked list. Instead of holding generic objects, it's going to hold JSON objects. This syntax right here is the syntax for generics. It's Java's way of letting me let it know what kind of value I want this generically written linked list to hold. So instead of the values coming out as generic objects, it will now expect me to put in JSON objects, and it will give me out JSON objects. So I don't have to typecast them. When it comes out, it would have, if I don't use generics here, when it comes out of the linked list, it'll come out as a generic object. Even though I know it's a JSON object, I would have to typecast it back to the generic object. When we get to that point, I'll show you. I'll mention it. All right, so we're going to have a linked list of JSON objects. This guy's going to be a new linked list of JSON object, like that.
You cannot initiate here, right?
Well, I should be able to.
You can only declare it. You should initiate later.
Well, I can declare it here, though.
You just
You're not.
declare-
You shouldn't, but you can.
Really? I think you can only declare it. You should give a name.
New.
Oh, you haven't given a name of it.
Oh, that's the problem. So let's call this the objects is equal to a new linked list of. Oh, thank you. JSON object. Okay. And so then we'll create our constructor here. Actually, since we're doing this, we don't need a constructor. Yeah, so I don't even need a constructor for that, dude. And now I'll say public void add. Oh, and these aren't JSON objects. These are JSON variables. Or JSON value. These are JSON values, not JSON objects.
No.
Yeah.
A
A JSON object is a collection of name value pairs.
Yeah, that is true.
Yep. So this guy's a collection of name value pairs called the objects. So anything we put in here will be called will be of type JSON value. Right now we only support JSON string values, but we'll be changing that shortly. So this will be add JSON value, and this guy will take in a JSON value JV as a parameter, and we'll say this dot the objects dot add. Yeah, this one, and we'll add JV. Okay, and then we want to go ahead and we want to say public, yep, string to JSON, or let's call it export JSON, like this. And this guy is going to start off a string answer is equal to, actually let's call it JSON. String JSON will start off as the opening curly brace. He will end with the closing curly brace. Will ultimately return JSON, the end of this guy, And in the middle, we're going to loop through all of our objects. So we're going to say
While we have to know how many objects there.
oh, we already know. We know. I was just going to do it as a for each loop, but I think it's going to be easier to do it this way. For int I is equal to 0, I is less than this dot the objects dot size, I plus plus. This will loop through all those objects. Then we'll go ahead and say JSON plus equals this dot the objects dot get the object at bucket I dot to JSON, which is really probably that's fine. To JSON's fine. So we'll get the to JSON version of it, and then we'll say if we have to decide whether we also need to tack on a comma. So if I is less than this dot the objects dot size minus 1. If it's less than that, we'll say JSON plus equals a comma. Like that. Okay, and then ultimately return JSON. All right, so now our JSON object knows how to hold a collection of JSON values. Okay, which is a name. Yeah, JSON value, which will be a name value pair.
But it will create an error when you create a JSON array object because array holds a value that is either an object.
Okay, well we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Okay. So right now, when we add a name value pair, it's coming in here to name value pair, and this one, let's call this add string name value pair. Well, this could be fine for right now. We can change it later. Add name value pair is going to take these two things. We're tacking it into our array here as this name value combination. And actually, let's change it here. Add string. I want to do something here. I think I can do this. Can I refactor here? Add string name value pair, and I think that will do it in all of the different places. So because I called add string, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to tack on something that just looks like string value. Well, let's just say string in front of that, and then followed by the name value pair. That's just visual in our table view. All right, so this is just what it's going to look like in our table view. Now, this activity is going to initially create a blank JSON object that we're going to be adding things to. So we'll say private JSON object, the object. Well, here, we'll set it down here since, no, we won't. Equals new JSON object, like that. So we'll go ahead and we'll start off with a blank JSON object. Yeah, that'll work. And then we'll come into, when we add a right here, when we add a new string, we want to also go ahead and add a new JSON string value to our JSON object. So we'll say this dot the object dot add JSON value, new JSON string value, passing it the name and the value. Make sense? So I'm filling up my array list with just a visual representation of my of all my objects I've created. All right, but I'm also building my actual JSON object here. Okay, that's going to give us a platform for building our more complex JSON objects here in a few minutes. So our name value pairs, more complex versions of those. So now, when we do generate JSON, right now we do all this garbage, right?
Now we can remove it by export JSON.
Yeah, now all we have to do is say this dot the object dot export JSON. So as of right now, this should give us the same output that we had before. Okay, and I'm just interested here real quick. Create name value activity. Add string name. Yeah, it did. When I refactored it, it changed it in all the locations.
Okay,
So
refactoring.
yeah, when I refactored the add string name value pair on that first screen, it updated the name of it here. I didn't have to go and fix it. All right, so let's go ahead and hit play. And as of right now, it should work the same way it's worked before. Mm-hmm. Good. Now is the time you want me grading your homework.
You should send a message on Slack say, I'm going to grade homework.
Yeah, I just.
All right, so that seemed to work so far. Let's add a second dude. Okay, well, yeah, that's fine. Shows that when we generate it, it's like that, right? All we know how to do with strings seems to be doing what it's supposed to do. Okay. If we really wanted to give us more structure here, we could put carriage returns after this.
That's not very important.
Yeah, let's just leave it for now. Okay, so what we want to do now is give ourselves a let's support numbers first. Okay, so what we're going to do,
Your checkbox.
yeah, let's give ourselves something on that screen. So what's that called? Create name value. This guy. All right, and you like when I go like that, right? All right. So let's see. What widgets do I have? Oh, I got a switch. Two-state toggle switch that can select between two options, string or number.
Cool. Sounds good.
That's cool.
Do you know how to use it?
No, but if you want, I'd like to try it.
I guess it doesn't know what it is.
Ah, surely you jest. All right, so let's see, what can we? So here's the text. So this is going to be a string.
I think there is a check that two checks below, so
Yeah, well,
string. Oh, yeah. So you check it.
Yeah, but see, I want to. This is supposed to be a switch.
Can you double click it again? There is a check here. How about clicking?
what about those?
Oh, no, I don't know how to do it. It's weird. Oh, there's
Here, let's just run this real quick and see how that widget behaves. might want to use a different kind of
Oh, it doesn't change the value. Okay.
Still shows string
So
value.
you better use the checkbox. This means
Well,
on and off.
no, I could flip it. I can change its text. So that would be string value, and if I flip it, we can change it to number value.
So we cannot see how to do it.
Let him try.
Yeah, well, you don't think I can do it?
Okay, we can try it. Yes, there's a label. It must be. Yeah, I know how other one do it. But
I have to do it.
Ye of little faith. All right, so let's spread that guy out. Oh, actually, it looks like crap now. Okay, we'll say that's good. All right, let's call this toggle switch. Okay, and that guy must have the property's got to be called text, right? And does he have an on click? Oh yeah, easy. Easy peasy. Okay, so let's go into our, what is this, create name activity, this guy? So let's just give ourselves a private Boolean is string is the default, right? So we'll start is string off at true, and then we're going to do a public void save, not save button, toggle switch changed, and this guy is going to take in, is it going to let me take in a switch, whatever, we'll take in a view v. All right, and when we get that view v, we're going to say, what kind of animal is that guy? He is a
switch.
it was just a switch? Okay. So we're going to say switch s is equal to the switch version of v. Okay, so that's alt return. Ha-ha! All right, then we're going to say if s dot is, I think is activated, is checked. If it is checked, then we're going to say this dot is string is false. Else this dot is string is true. So really what we want to do is s dot is checked. So we can really just say this dot is string is equal to is checked, not that. So is string is the inverse of whether or not this guy is checked. If this guy's checked, that means it's slid over to the other side because it's in the not checked. So that means it would be the number. So it's the inverse of that. All right, so now we need to let me put a breakpoint in here. Is that a breakpoint? Aha! Let's do our debugger. Oh, I gotta go tell that guy about his toggle switch on click dealy. On click, on click. Oh. All right, let's run this in the debugger and see what value we get from that dude. Found the other hot pepper. He was hiding in there.
Is it too hot?
Oh, it's just right.
You like chili spicy?
Sure. Oh, I need to hit my checkbox. All right, so I just checked it. So once we step over that, where's my step over? This guy? That's step into. Step over. Aha, it's false. Good. It flipped. It did what it was supposed to do. All right. So then when we hit save button, right now, let's see if we can stop this. How do I stop it? Did I stop it? Let's just say we're good. So now when we hit the save button, we can say if this dot is string, if that's true, then we're going to save a string like we were doing before. Else, we're going to save a number. So we'll steal this line. Else, we're going to call this add number name value pair, which doesn't exist yet, but that's okay. That's going to take a name as a string, and it's going to take the integer version of the text. So we got to make sure we only put integers in there. We're not going to test against that for now. Okay, so if it's a string, do what we did before. If it's a number, meaning the toggle switches the other way, we're going to call a different method, the add number name value pair, and pass it a name, which is always a string, and pass it the value as an int. But now we need to build the appropriate thing. So let's go back over here to build Json Object activity, this guy. So we'll steal this code. Whoop, add name, no, that's not what we want. We want this one. So we'll steal that code. This is going to be an add number name value pair. And he's going to take in an int value. And this guy's going to be a number, do it all caps to really drive the point home. And now we need to create a JSON number value. Similar to a JSON string value, but he's actually a JSON number value. All right, so let's open up JSON string value, and let's steal everything he has to offer. All right, then let's create a new class here for JSON number value, and we'll just modify this guy slightly. JSON number value, okay. Up here, modify it, change it back to number here. And here's the constructor for this guy. Except its constructor is going to take in an int for the value, and its value is going to be an int. Okay, good. And then when we output to JSON, the name will be the same, but we won't put the double quotes around the value. And this is a %D for decimal. Might be %I, but this is actually coming from C, the old C programming language, and D was the original placeholder. So we'll see if he's happy with that. So we're going to do a JSON number value. So let's go back here to this dude. There's our JSON number. There's that dude. Okay, well, word on the street is this should run. So A7, and that guy's going to be an int. We should probably toggle this too, but whatever. We'll do that in a second. So hit save. There's our number. A is 7. B is hello. Generate JSON. There's our A is 7. No quotes. B is hello. All right, perfect. Let's get that dude toggling. I'm lost. Create name value activity. Dun dun dun. It's like supposed to be like a scary part of when you're watching a movie and there's something scary is about to happen. All right, so if this dot is string, yeah, might as well have just kept it in a variable. I'll put it back in a variable. Switch s is equal to this guy. And then if not s is checked, then do this. If it's a string, we're going to say s.setText to, what does it currently say?
String value.
String value, caps for both of them. Else, number value. So now it should actually toggle for us. Let's run that. Epic.
Cool.
Okay. So that is name value pairs for strings and for numbers, right?
Yeah.
So what we probably want to do, let's see. So this is add name value pair. Then do we have an add object?
Yeah. We should add the name value pair, which value is an object.
Yeah. So the question is do we just have one button on this screen that takes us to another screen that lets us choose between the 4 types? Or
maybe, I think that's better. Or we can just have a name above and the string.
Let's just keep here, we can update that button a little bit. So let's do this. Oh, it's because we have that list underneath there. That's going to be a buzzkill. Okay. Name value pair string /number.
not in the next screen say pick up a specific type?
So add name string pair, add a name number pair, add name object pair, add name array pair.
Yeah. Seems like the bucket doesn't agree with it.
Because the object can include string and can be.
All right, so that means I need to have this guy take me to a new screen.
Yeah.
So the type, okay. And that screen's gonna have 3 buttons.
Mm-hmm.
One takes us to if I want to do a string or a number.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, we can have 4 buttons.
You can have 3, but as we have already built
Yeah.
the 5 together.
All right. So let's do this. We're gonna create a new
Activity.
Android activity. And this is an empty activity. And we're gonna call this guy, what, type chooser activity or type choice activity?
Have choice.
Value choice?
Value choice.
Value choice activity. Value choice activity. All right. And here's this guy. Doesn't it usually complain about our theme? Oh, it defaulted to an app theme now. Oh, good. All right, so let's put some buttons out here. All right, so this guy is going to be
String or value. Oh, yes, string or number.
string/number value.
Copy.
And this is going to be object value. And this will be array value. Okay. And then let's all right. Perfect. Uh-oh. Just leave well enough alone. All right, so this should go, string number value should go to, well, actually, let's get it to this screen first. So this guy is called value choice activity. So back in build Json object activity, when we do add name value pair, we let this guy know who the current build JSON activity is. That's going to be important later on. Actually, we'll probably end up doing that as a stack.
Yeah, maybe good.
So let's go ahead and do that now. So inside of Builder Core, I want to create a static stack of JSON, what's it called? JSON, oh, build JSON object. Called the object builders. And this guy will be a new stack of build JSON object activities. Okay. Good enough for now. All right, so then back here in build JSON object activity, rather than, oh, then we also need to then kill this guy. This is the current activity. Let's just get rid of that. What's this guy for?
I don't know.
We don't use him anymore, do we?
I don't know. I think we believe it.
Okay, so we're in build JSON activity. So this is no longer a thing. Now we're going to say dot the object builders dot push this. So this is the current guy on the stack. Okay. You'll see what that means when we actually click the button to create a new JSON object. Okay, when we create a new JSON object, we're going to have to create a brand new activity for building a JSON object, which is going to look a lot like that first activity, but when we dive in from there, we're going to push that guy on top of the stack. All right. And now we're no longer doing this activity class. We're doing, what's it called? Value choice activity. This guy. All right, so that should take us there. Oh, this is what that JSON was for. That next activity stores it.
So we get it back.
Nailed it. All right. So let's make sure that correct second screen shows up now. Row. Oh, this is fine. So wherever we say this, we can no longer say that. We now need to do the JSON builders dot peak dot add.
What about?
That'll give us whatever's the current guy we're building. Add the string name value pair to that guy. Because remember, peak for stacks doesn't remove it. It just gives us access to the top of the stack. And at all points in time, the top of our object builders stack is going to be the object we're currently building. So if I put this guy on hold and I start building a new object, he's going to be the new top of the stack. So whenever I add, I peak the top of the stack and I'll add to that. Make sense? All right. So I think we should be running it again. All right, that takes us here. Oh, the boxes are not the same size. Blade, these buttons are not the same size. No, I don't want to hear it.
Defines what we
All right, so we're going to have this guy now go to our previous screen. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Because after I add something, don't we want it to go back to the first screen? So we're going to have to do back button twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like what
All right, so we're going to do, I'm going to steal this code. And we're going to go into value choice activity, and we're going to have several of those dudes. 3 of them. Select classes you want to import to a new file. Thank you. Okay, add name, let's see. Add, what's that button with? String number, value button pressed. Add string number button pressed. All right, and this guy is not a new object. Okay. And what we're going to launch is create name value activity like this. And then we need to steal the name of this dude and go out here to our and go to his on click. Okay. So now, everybody relax. So now on that guy, create name value activity. After we've saved something, we need to do this twice.
Oh, yeah. Go back first.
Because I want to go back 2 screens, not just 1 screen.
Just once. How about you press the back button?
Well, if I press the back button, it'll go to the right place.
So it means cannot go twice. Can we just go back to this activity?
It's a good. This dot.
It's weird. Why it cannot do twice? Oh, is it because of these? When you go back one, oh, it's the one still it.
Actually, let's see. What does this guy give me? Oh, it gives me a void.
Yeah.
Do we have access to the? Let's look here. Android.
Go back twice.
Go back to screen. Here, 2 activities. There should be a stack of activities somewhere.
I think there should be at least should be a way.
Here's go back to a specific activity.
Yeah, I think we can.
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Is the internet down?
Maybe.
Well, actually, it can't be down because I was able to do the search.
How about reconnect the network again?
I just did.
I think mine is down too.
All right.
it's not right because this is -1. So this is not a good operator.
Let's see. Oh, this is. What about that? Android activity stack. Let's see, how do we interact directly with the activity stack? I think we could do this. This would be a little tricky. Well, might as well do it. Okay. So we're gonna store in our builder core. So we'll store the activity that's the previous screen. And then in value choice activity, before we go to the new thing, we'll say builder core dot prev screen is equal to this. That'll take us to the next page where we are on generate create this guy. We're going to say on back button press there, and then builder core dot prev screen dot on back pressed.
Yeah. So this is
I think that should force it to go back twice. That's a little bit ghetto.
maybe. Oh no.
All right.
Doesn't recognize it.
Yeah, but I think we're actually okay.
So
I think if I do this in the other order, If this doesn't work, then I have a third plan.
So you mean that you actually fire the original activity already in background? I don't know. I think it's magic. It works. Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't like that. All right, so then what we're going to do is we are going to, on this screen, because this is the screen where it needs to happen, we're going to have a private Boolean should go back is equal to false. But actually, let's make this guy public, just so we can easily work with it. And then we need to do a override protected void on like on return or something like that. Android activity. We need to look at the activity lifecycle. So we want the equivalent of you will appear. On resume. Okay. So what does on resume look like?
On resume is refresh. Refreshes when you go back to the middle refresh.
Protected void on resume. This guy. If this dot should go back, this dot on back pressed.
Maybe it would work.
Oh, it wants us to call super dot
Oh yes.
on resume. Okay, so then here on our create name value, this guy, when we hit the save button, previous screen dot should what did I call it? Should go back. Go back. So Boolean. Should go back is equal to true. Builder core.prev screen, which is a it's because we need to tell it what kind of thing the prev screen is. Prev screen is a value choice activity. It's one of these dudes. And one of those dudes does have a should go back variable. So we'll set that to true. Otherwise, this guy's just a generic activity as we have it saved. So we'll set that to true, so that after we go back, on resume will get called on this guy. On resume should get called on this guy, and he'll notice that he should go back, and he'll call his own on back pressed.
Automatically solution doesn't use it. But
Ha!
Yeah, it works.
All right. So that's add name value pair. Now we need to build a JSON, build a new object, right? So we are going to go into that's going to be interesting. We'll figure it out when we get to that point. Okay, so let's go ahead and give our button for add object button pressed. All right, so we'll let the builder core know about our previous screen. At least for right now, we can decide if that should be the case. Yeah, it should be. Ooh. We have to go back here real quick. Build JSON object activity. This guy, when we click add name value pair button, we're always pushing ourselves back onto the top of the stack. We should only push ourselves back on, push ourselves onto the stack if we're not already at the top of the stack. Because if I'm on this main screen here, I'm already on the top of the stack. If I'm this main screen, I'm on the top of the stack. When I hit that, I just pushed myself on top of myself.
Oh,
Now I'm on the top of the stack twice.
We don't need that one in the main screen.
So what we need to do here is, well, you don't need it on any screen where you're building objects. So we need to ask if builder core dot the object builders dot peak is not equal to us. This is a function. All right, so if we are not the top of the stack, push ourselves onto the stack. It's only the first time we hit that button will that happen. All right. And then we need to do an on. We'll deal with that here in a second. How do we play the game of going back? Okay. Value choice activity, add object button pressed. We'll let them know who the previous screen is. Then we're going to go to the no, we already have it. Create JSON object activity or build JSON object activity. Because that's what we're doing. We're building a JSON object. All right. But the issue is that we don't have the name. We don't have the name of that JSON object. Yeah. So this would be create name object activity. Okay. So I'll right click on this. We'll say new activity, empty activity. create name object activity. All right, and this guy will take in the name of the new object. Okay, and then, yeah, this will actually work out better anyways. All right. All right, let's build it first. Because when this guy comes into existence, he's going to have to let the top level guy know that he's a new name value pair in there while he's being built. All right, so here's our create name object activity. We can actually steal most of the stuff from, actually we don't. Create name value activity, let's go here. Steal those two. Here. Paste that. Paste that.
You should just click one of our items. Now you're dragging two items.
Oh, I get it.
No, you are dragging.
Can I separate them? There's that. There's that.
You undo it. Undo it until they're separated. Or just drag it out of the relative layout. No, you cannot.
All right, enter name, and then we'll have our edit text.
Name? No, down. Person name, text field, person name.
Oh, do we even need to have enter name there?
Why not?
Isn't this our, oh, this is, we don't want to have a placeholder there. Name ET. Okay. Let's make this spread out. Whoa. Okay. And then we could have this guy's gravity be center horizontally.
Cool.
That should now, we have text in there, it should be centered. Okay. Got it. So we have enter name, and then we have what, just like generate object or something like that as our button.
I think we can pick up different type of value.
So generate object. And this guy's on click. Will be generate button pressed. Whoop. Oh, perfect. That was exactly what I wanted. redo, click, generate, button, pressed. Okay. And then we need to go into our code behind for this guy, which is our
Value choice activity.
create name object activity. This guy. Public.
Generate button.
Void. Generate object. Button. Pressed. UV. Okay. Now.
I think we should have on resume on this page as well, right?
Oh, not necessarily yet. I don't want to put it on there yet. So what we need to do is when we click that generate object, we need to let the top of the stack know that we have a object being built.
So it should be on the bottom when we enter this screen.
Let's see. So it needs to be an object being built. See, well, here, I'll just go to the other screen first, then we'll figure out what we need to do over in that screen. So we can steal the code from this guy right here. That'll at least get us there. All right, and we're going to be going to build Json Object activity class. Oh, yeah, this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. And we'll say I.put extra. Let me look at this again. Put extra name string value. That one. All right, so it's going to be a name is going to be var name. And then the value is going to be, we don't have a text field for that yet. So let's just put blah in there for right now. I need to go back out here to our create name object guy. We need to give this guy, we did name him. We named him name ET, we just didn't bring him into code. So what we'll do here is we need to go back into that, create name object. So we're going to say edit text ET is equal to the edit text version of this dot find view by ID r.id dot name ET. All right, and then we can pass in et.getText to that guy. So we're passing an extra into our intent, letting our intent know he's going to go with like some carry-on luggage. All right, our intent's going to take some carry-on luggage. We could have done this through the singleton, but to keep the singleton from getting too confused, what I'm going to do now is we're going to launch this build JSON activity, but I'm going to do a little test thing here. So build JSON object activity. And we called it var name. Okay. So here on onCreate, we're going to say this dot get intent dot get string extra named var name. So string var name is equal to that. Now for right now, I'm just going to leave it like this. I expect to get a nil value for the original, and I expect to get the actual variable name for the other one. That's how a build JSON object activity will be able to differentiate himself from a normal build JSON activity and an additional, or the top level build JSON activity and this new additional build JSON activity. Okay. So let's make sure that's the case. So let's run this. Because now what happens is when I finally hit that generate object button pressed, I want to confirm real quick that that was the name of the thing I put out here. Generate button pressed. Yep. No, it wasn't. All right. So generate object button pressed is going to call back to name object. This guy, which is going to grab the name of this variable, and because the object associated with this name has not been created yet, it doesn't get created until the very beginning of generate object button pressed. Or I'm sorry, the very beginning of onCreate for build JSON object activity. I'm going to give it to the intent to take with him. Then so that's where I'm doing right here. I'm passing that variable name in. The original guy, when we first launch our app, he's not going to get a var name. Nobody gave him one to take with him onto the plane. Okay? So now when we start that activity, we can ask the question right here at the beginning, do I have one of these? So let's see what value we get. We should get nil for the first one, and we should get the actual variable name for the second one. So I'll go ahead and put a breakpoint right there. And we'll go ahead and launch this. So we should get here pretty quick. It should, before our application even finishes launching, we should be sitting right here. All right, so here's our var name. Oh, is it still? Now it launched. Now let's launch it again. Sometimes the debugger crashes. Because that you have to do a log, NS log thing.
You can say that here if you say standard you can only include.
Here?
Yeah, you can say in console. I have tried.
Oh well, if that's the case, that's new.
Maybe.
Because you used to have to do a log.i or something like that.
The last one. Did it launch?
It's launched, yeah. Well, here, so let's go in and we'll make it launch again. Add name value pair. Oh, maybe it doesn't. see if it's this line. Maybe he doesn't want us getting something that doesn't exist.
Maybe. Because there's no export at that moment.
Oh, maybe this. Maybe there's no intent.
Yeah.
That's even better.
All right. So, there's something wrong in your code. It means when you click it, there's the error.
Let's on create. Let's clean project and then rebuild. Oh, it's got to be this. Can I not call peak?
By the way, did you really push it into it? Have you, when you created, have you really pushed it into the stack? Is there anything there? If it's a now, then
Well, it should be, but I mean, I'm thinking maybe it's crashing here that I can't.
if the stack is empty, so it will crash.
Well, will peak give me a null?
I don't know. At least when I try the stack, if there's nothing in the stack, it will crash.
All right, so it got me to here. Yeah, that was the problem. So we need to say if builder core dot the object builders dot size is greater than 0, and if both of those things are true. Now I should be able to run it normally. I think it'll get past that. Oh, except yeah, that's not what we want to say anyways. We want to say if its size is 0 or the top is not equal to it, push it.
Yeah, if it's not
Under either of those circumstances, but since an or only one of them needs to be true, it won't check the second half.
Yes.
So
If the
this
first
should
one
be,
is true, it won't check the peak.
well, this is actually a fun problem.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so now this goes here. Okay, so now that that's part's working, let me. Oh, I guess we'll test you to see if that really prints something out. I don't believe it will.
I haven't did it for several times.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
'Cause that's always been one of my complaints about Android.
yeah, it's stupid to have a log that is not essentially useful.
Okay, well, we got an empty there. Add name value pair, object value, object value, object value. Okay, why isn't that guy going anywhere? Build JSON object activity.
Is it because of I dot put extra gets error?
It shouldn't.
Otherwise, it should go to the next screen.
Let's just take that out for right now. Okay, bet you the problem is in here. We can create intent I is equal to new intent. So context. Okay, I think that's good. So let's do something here. This dot start activity. There's something else we can do with that intent. I dot is it that a launch activity can't Android launch start additional launch activity. I'm thinking maybe it's because it's a launch activity.
This is a bigger problem.
Android intent. I think it's in the intent. Primary piece of information of intent. All right, so category default. Look at this, and we'll take a break here in a minute. It's so since we added this guy to have a specific category, let me try to give him a second category. Default. Let's see if he'll launch now.
So it means you cannot itself the main activity.
Well, I bet you can. We just have to figure out how.
So yes, at least I just create a new.
You created a new one. That's why you didn't run into the problem.
I have never think about to use the default one. So I haven't met this problem. I'm not sure how to figure it out.
All right, alternative app browser. Here's all these different categories that something can be launched with. All right, let's leave it at default real quick, and then can I set category, Android intent action? Oh, this one's also main. Eee. It might be that these are just off limits, that main activity.
Maybe you cannot have a multiple main.
Let's try one more thing here. I.add category. Default. Actually, it was all caps, wasn't it? Yeah, all caps. Okay. Well, we're saying that I'm trying to launch it as a default. Oh wait, hold on. Let me go back here. Object value.
Still doesn't.
Yeah. It might be better off just creating a new one.
Yeah.
It'll actually make the rest of it easier. I was trying to treat the guy twice. All right, well, let's take a 20-minute break. I'll actually look at it during the break. And then we'll get up, walk it off.